Welcome back into the channel. As we approach the new year, spring training is going to start rather soon, especially for the Dodgers and for the Padres, who are going to play a week earlier in South Korea. They're going to have to report in early February. The rest of the teams will report to spring training about midway through February after the Super Bowl ends, December the 26th, and there are still a plethora of free agents out there, including marquee names that still have not signed. And this has been a long-going discussion of MLB and baseball and how they should handle the offseason with their free agents. Should there be a free agency deadline, a free agency week? Baseball is a season that is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a very long season, 162 games. It's a long season from February all the way until November most of the time. Dragging out a offseason isn't out of the ordinary for baseball. It's kind of the baseball fabric, right? It's kind of the baseball fabric. Long offseason, just dragging it out. I see the discussion a lot, like should there be a deadline week for baseball? No, we have the winter meetings, and that is the time that MLB is encouraging owners and GMs and whomever to make deals and get deals done, signings, trades, get all of that done that week, own that week, spotlight that week. It always doesn't happen that way for most of the time. We don't really see the big guys sign during the winter meetings. Judge did sign last year, but Ohtani signed days after. The winter meetings is not a deadline decider for free agents to sign. You, the viewer, let me know in the comments, should MLB have a deadline day for free agents to sign? We see it in the NFL, we see it in the NHL, and we see it in the NBA. They have a deadline day, deadline week, mostly a day or two. Everything happens at once, maybe a couple of others trickle in later, but for the most part, you see everything go down in one day and boom, it's done, and then we wait, right? And so with baseball, kind of a little bit of a long off season. I think there's pros and cons to baseball not having a deadline day because you do get these random huge news just out of nowhere middle of the off season. Ronnie signed on December the 8th. It's about a little bit over a month after the season ended. This random huge news spike at any given time in the offseason versus just all in one day and boom, it's done. For example, Cody Bellinger is not signed, Josh Hader is not signed, Blake Snell is not signed, Matt Chapman is not signed. These are some of the top 10 guys I had on my free agency list that still have not signed, Cody Bellinger being the premier one. We have seen these guys really drawn out this process. Like we saw a few years ago with Machado and Harper. It took until literally spring training getting started, and then they signed with the Padres and the Phillies. That was the most ridiculous saga I've ever seen in my life with Machado and Harper's free agency. I'm not sure we'll ever see that again. Those two guys, the biggest free agents on the market at the time, signed literally in spring training. That was horrible for the game of baseball, and that should have prompted something to at least speed things up. If you're not signed by a team by February 1st, you're done. You're not playing until halfway through the season you can latch onto a team. There has to be some sort of penalty or bonus to signing for a certain date. Add in a bonus, maybe $1 million bonus or something, signing by December the 15th, let's just say. Get guys to sign early. That should be the focus for MLB. You do not want to let this drag out forever. You're just kind of stuck waiting. I'm sure teams even the same thing. They want to know going into the new year, all right, we have pretty much our set team, maybe a couple other minor moves, but we have our set teams, we have our premier guys. We know what our goal is for 2024 as soon as January 1st hits. FanFest starts coming around. Like, you want to have some of these things, your promotional schedule planned out, all of those things. You want to get them done and prepare them as soon as possible. So dragging out the free agency process with these big name free agents or just whomever is not good for the game of baseball. And so if you're asking me, should there be a deadline day or not a deadline day or a week, whatever the case is, I'm going to say yes to a certain extent. Like I mentioned, I think the best idea is have a bonus for guys that's signed by a certain day. So like I said, December the 15th. I signed by December the 15th or before December the 15th. It's $1 million bonus. Not sure if MLB wants to do that or the teams want to do that. It'd be best for the game of baseball. I think that would be pretty good for the game of baseball, and everybody involved, I think, would be pretty happy. And if they don't sign by December the 15th, that's on them. But maybe at least try it for the extra $1 million and gets guys to really push to sign, their agents and all that. Really gets them to sign as soon as possible. And so we speed things up a little bit quicker for the game of baseball in the off season. Just a little quick video, guys. Been hectic around here. Need to get a video out. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I appreciate all the brand new subs and all the support that I've been receiving over the past week. Hopefully everybody had a good holiday, and happy holidays to everybody out there. And let me know your thoughts on this free agency stuff topic that has been discussed quite a bit. I'm not sure if anything will ever change with the MLB offseason and how guys sign, the whole process of it, but it's a thing that should be talked about and maybe tinkered with just a little bit.